LebNet is honored to host the Women Leaders in Tech webinar series. Each webinar will feature a tech expert in her field who will be interviewed for 10 minutes by an early to mid-career high-tech woman professional. We are thrilled to be joined today by Desiree El Chebeir, Vice President Digital at McKinsey & Company, where she has been working with clients to innovate, launch new businesses, and grow existing ones using technology. And I understand that Desiree has recently moved to the startup side of the world. Desiree will be interviewed by me, Maya Houcheime Hage, Product Design Manager at BD, one of the largest global medical technology companies in the world. Desiree, describe a time you had to make a tough decision. What was it and how did it go?
One time was when I had to make a career decision. I was just out of business school and I had come back to Lebanon because that's what I had decided to do. And I decided that it was too small for me and I wanted to leave. But I had too many options. It was a blessing and a curse at the same time. And the options were many on what I would do. So startup, nonprofit, corporate, in terms of where I would do it in geography. So I was looking at Europe, the US, also staying in the region, in the Middle East, and what function I would actually take on. So it was many, many different dimensions. I had different goals. And in the end, I figured, why not create an Excel out of it and then try and put some methodology into it. So I boiled it down to the criteria that were important. I put a weight for every one of the criteria. And then I assigned coefficients for the different options that I had. It was a beautiful calculation on Excel, but at the end of the day, I knew that the answer was just inside of me, and the Excel was just a validation and a way to bring the thinking out and really see how I felt about it. And in the end, I ended up actually taking a corporate job in Seattle.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the criteria, maybe? Delve into, what things were priority for you?
Yeah, so at the time, I had to look at pay. So I had just come out of business school, and even though I had paid for all of it, I really was restarting from scratch. Another one was career progression. Was this something that was going to open up doors for me? It was also, is that something that was going to build on what I had done before, which was very technical, but also very business oriented. I had started out as a software engineer, moved over to technical consulting, pre-sales, account management. And then after business school, I had done a lot of work with startups and investment funds. So it was like, okay, now what do I want to do? I have the curse of so many options, right? So that I want to go back to being more technical. Do I want to do more the business part of it? And ended up actually becoming a product manager. And then the third criteria was location, geography, how far I was going to be from my family, where did I want to live, what kind of life did I want to live.
Fantastic. Can you describe your very best day at work?
The best day at work is a day that actually leverages my lows and my highs, and also gives me the kind of activity that I actually like to spend time on. And that is a combination of spending time alone, thinking and creating, and time with people, connecting, because that gives me a lot of energy as well, and time learning. So this would be a best day at work.
Got it. So we met because of your love of interacting with people. We met when there was very distressful times in 2006, and we joined effort and led fundraisers that resulted in over $500,000 funneled through the Red Cross, UNICEF, and Save the Children. So obviously, being of Lebanese descent, it's a mixed bag of emotions, and it ranges from pride of origin to distress in obviously this current situation in Lebanon. How do you see your role right now evolving as a member of the diaspora?
Yeah, I still remember the day we talked about that, Maya, and we talked about actually creating a bake sale. That's how it started.
Yeah, I know.
I'm joking, right?
It became dinners, huge campaigns across the Bay Area. I remember very well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, it's no different now, except that the change that you mentioned earlier. Now I actually had a innovation startup out of the United Nations called sharethemeal.org. It's actually an app as well. And it helps anybody who wants to be part of this donation and being able to make a difference in the world to be part of it. So it's a campaign-based donation. We're creating one now for Lebanon. Unfortunately, or fortunately, history keeps repeating itself for us, right? Yeah. And we have now the August 4th anniversary coming up, and we're creating a big campaign for Lebanon. We have now ongoing for a lot of other causes, including Yemen, Palestine, etc. That's fantastic. That's how I feel that I can give back to the country that we all love so much.
Do you feel that it's part of your legacy as well?
It's definitely part of my legacy, what I want to leave this world with. At the end of the day, you go back and revisit your values and what your drivers were. Mm-hmm. And for me, these were very, very strongly affected by what's been happening. And, you know, when friends of mine who are doctors and lawyers are telling me that they need to calibrate how much meat they eat, when people in an Akkar that I've met tell me that they use the Lebanese bread and then they dip it in the sauce of the Belghari, just so that I have something to eat other than just bread, it really hits like deep, very deep. And you're like, if I am able to make a difference in that and I don't, then that's when I'm a criminal.
I think many Lebanese around the world share that same feeling. What do you regret the most?
I regret not having stopped and taken the time to actually think about how me and my life and my view of the world have changed along the way. Mm-hmm. Because mine de rien, things change very, very often, right? We blink and it's been 5 or 10 years since that last decision that we've made. And in the meantime, we are no longer that person. The conditions have changed, and therefore it's okay to take a different decision, to change our mind about something. And one thing that I would have liked to do is take more chances earlier on. Another thing would have been learning a lot more around all things investments, mm-hmm. so that all the hard work that I put in was actually being invested in all the right places. And third is taking the right advice and structuring a board of advisors for my personal self, right, for my personal development. And if it's not a board of advisors, at least taking up mentors or coaches that could have helped me along the way, again, to optimize all the things. I mean, thank God I've had a lot of luck in how I've managed my career and my professional and personal development. Of course, I put in a lot of the work as well. But I think that good pointed advice could have helped a lot along the way.
Maybe optimize your time better in a sense, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you can describe your journey in one sentence, what would it be?
I think if I were to look back at what has been a driver and a motivator, was always learning and challenging myself and growing. And I think that's really what has helped me change from being an uber technical person who was working on hardware servers before cloud was even a thing, to really making it over to the product development side, the international expansion, to working in consulting. And I think that's it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse also, because you feel like you always want to learn more, you always want to advance, you always want to grow. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you almost become addicted to this steep S-curve of learning, to quote Whitney Johnson.
Well, thank you so much, Desiree, for your time and insights into your career. We look forward to hearing more news and successes along the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, LebNet.